What is up, fight fans? This is DJC Combat, and this weekend goes down the trilogy between Max Blessed Holloway and Dustin the Diamond Poirier. This will be the final dance between these two, the last dance, and quite frankly, the last dance ever for Dustin Poirier, his final ever fight, which is sad. I've been a Dustin fan for a long time, a Max fan too, but I've enjoyed most of Dustin Poirier's career. But you know what? He's a legend. He's had a long storied career. He's already done so much. He's already given us enough wars. He's bled enough for us fans, so nothing left to prove. It is what it is, like Max Holloway would say. I'm going to give you my breakdown and prediction for the trilogy between these two, Holloway and Poirier. These men have fought, they will have fought three times now over 13 years. Their first fight was in 2012, which is absolutely crazy. And they fought two different times across two different eras. Back when fighters could wear their own shorts, to then the Reebok era, now the Venom era. And Dustin Poirier is up 2-0 in this series. Can Max Holloway finally get it done? Well, what I will say is, even though Dustin beat him twice, Max Holloway, he's leveled up between the first fight all the way to the second fight in 2019, from 2012 to 2019, and from 2019 to 2025, he's leveled up even more. From that last fight, he's shown he's shown progression, as the younger fighter. He's had the loss to Dustin, which made him better, the second loss. Then he's had those three losses to Volk, and each time he's lost to Volk, he's came back stronger, added something new to his tool set, to his game. And his second fight in the lightweight division against Gaethje, that was peak level Max Blessed Holloway, the best he's ever looked. And the improvements that Max Holloway has made in his game, he's improved his counterpunching ability, and he sits down his punches more. He throws with more power. He's increased his power. He's become more of a sniper as opposed to just a volume puncher, right? He's improved his footwork, his defense, his distance management. I think he's gotten even faster too. And he's adding more kicks to his game as well. Whereas the last time him and Dustin Poirier fought, Max Holloway was mainly boxing heavy, which actually played a lot into Dustin Poirier's game. But it's hard to go against the guy who's 2-0. It's hard to pick the guy who's 0-2, and that's what makes this fight as interesting as it is. I mean, I'll just go through the advantages that both guys have on each other. I'm going to start with Max Holloway. I'm going to say Holloway is faster than Dustin Poirier, slightly better footwork, more volume, more versatile striking, a better kicking game, and a better gas tank. I want to say chin, but he got cracked last time out by Poirier, which actually worries me a lot for this fight. So I don't know if his chin will be softened up headed into Saturday or not. But as far as we know, he has a durability advantage over Dustin the Diamond Poirier. But advantages that Poirier has over Max Holloway is he has more power. Both guys can scrap. Both guys can play it technical. But Poirier is even better when it comes to those scraps. When it comes to those brawls, he's more dangerous, more effective in those close range, tight exchanges. And he has a grappling advantage over Max Holloway as well. And even though I think Holloway's got better cardio, Dustin's cardio is not that far behind Max Holloway. And volume-wise, Dustin himself is also pretty effective. Maybe not as good as Holloway, but he's almost on par with him when it comes to volume. Both guys are also good at building into fights, which should make this one interesting. And actually, in that last fight, Dustin Poirier had early momentum, and then Max Holloway started to build as the fight went on. But that's mainly because Dustin emptied the tank trying to finish Holloway earlier. I don't know if Dustin Poirier is going to do that this time. I think he might pick his shots better. I think the last time he just got very excited because it was his first ever title fight. He was determined to win that interim title. But years have went by. He's gained even more experience. So has Max Holloway. So he might pace himself better in a 5-round fight. Both guys have a lot of experience in their MMA careers, in the UFC octagon, and against each other. Like, this fight is so hard to call. Okay, I've wrestled back and forth with this fight. I've really had to do a lot of thinking. Like, who do I got winning? Poirier or Max Holloway? I think ultimately it's going to come down to who shows up at their best, what version of Dustin we see, and what version of Holloway we see. I do think that Poirier is at a point in his career where he's not really going to improve anymore. This is his last ever fight. Now, he's at a point in his career where he's going to be motivated and determined to go out on a win. And he does have the confidence knowing he's beaten him twice. But this is as good as Dustin Poirier is ever going to get, whereas Holloway has a lot more to give in this sport. And like I said, he keeps getting better. And if he's not deteriorated from that Ilia Topuria knockout loss, if his chin is just as good, and if we see that version of Holloway we saw against Gaethje, I think he's got very good odds of winning this fight. The first two times these guys fought, it was on short notice, especially the first fight, because Max was a late replacement for Ricardo Lamas. The second time, it was 6 weeks out, so not really too short of notice, but Max Holloway's first ever lightweight fight, he didn't really take the transition from 45 to 55 seriously. He just showed up as a fat featherweight not cutting weight, right? He just showed up as a skinny fat version of himself. But the Max Holloway we saw against Gaethje at lightweight was a lot more stronger. He actually put on the size. He looked leaner, faster, and he flowed just as well as he always did at 145. And I think this time around, I just think Max is going to be more ready for Dustin Poirier than he was in the first two fights. And yes, Dustin did get off early damage. He did hurt Max Holloway in the first 2 rounds. But now that Holloway, he's improved his defense now. He's improved his footwork. He's a little more in and out. He doesn't just stand in front of his opponents anymore looking to throw volume shots. He actually picks his shots better now. I think he'll be more ready for the shots of Poirier. I think he'll be more ready to brace for the impact, to take the shots better of Dustin, to see the shots better, meaning he might not get tagged as badly early on as he did in that last fight. And something I noticed in their second fight is in moments when Holloway wasn't getting tagged up and rocked or in recovery mode from being rocked, Max Holloway was actually doing very well, outstriking Dustin Poirier, landing more combos, getting the better of the exchanges. After getting rocked in the first round, he survived, came back in round 2. He was winning most of the second round until, unfortunately, he got rocked late in the second round, and Dustin Poirier was able to seal it for himself. Then round 3, Max Holloway spent most of that round recovering, still kind of stunned from the second round. But then he started to, regain his mojo a little bit, recovered, started putting together combinations, started pouring on the pressure. But Dustin Poirier, because he has the grappling advantage, was able to mix it up and go for a takedown and just stall against the cage to slow down the momentum of Max Blessed Holloway. And then round 4, Holloway picked up where he left off in the second round, but without getting rocked. And he won the 4th round. And then he kind of slowed down in the 5th, took his foot off the gas, and Poirier got a second wind in round 5 and won that fight 4 rounds to 1. But you could argue that he won 3-2. But with the improvements that Holloway has made, with the improvements in his defense and his patience and his movement, and now that he throws a little more kicks, he's not just like a stationary boxer. He's a footwork heavy, kick heavy striker now. that should help him a lot in this fight against Dustin Poirier. And I think he can find similar success that he found in fight 2, but now he's an even better version of himself. He's going to be even better at 155. Overall, he's going to be an even better Max Holloway. And I think Dustin, he is slowing down. He is diminishing. He didn't look that good against Benoit Saint-Denis before finishing him in round 2. And then against Islam, he did start to pick up momentum late in the fight. Early on, wasn't looking good. Not just by being out grappled, but Makhachev was also able to outstrike him, put together boxing combinations on him. And I'm just saying, if Islam can do that, Max Holloway can certainly do that as well. So this fight, it's close on paper. I could see how either man could win this fight. I could see Max winning. I could see Dustin winning 3-0. And I mean, Max Holloway has to win this fight, because if he loses, he's going to go 0-6 in trilogies. 0-3 to Volk and 0-3 to Dustin Poirier. He's got to get that win over Dustin, man. And it will be better for the division if Max Holloway can get the job done, because he's not going to retire. It'll be a bad look if he loses to a Dustin Poirier who's ready to retire, right? I mean, this will be big for Dustin. He retires as the BMF champ, 3-0 over Max Holloway, rides off into the sunset. But then that just kind of hurts Holloway. Not really good for the lightweight division. I'm worried for Max Holloway. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried for Holloway, okay? Because Holloway has never won a rematch against someone who's already beaten him. Now, we know how great Volkanovski is, so no shame in that. And we know how good Dustin Poirier is, but 0-3 to Volk, 0-2 to Dustin. I feel like Holloway has a bit of a rematch curse to him. And then Dustin has never lost 2 fights in a row. He always bounces back between losses. So those 2 stats hurt my confidence in Max Holloway. And like I said, Dustin Poirier, he's beaten him twice already. Stylistically, he's always been a hard matchup for Max Holloway, always will be. Even in this form where he's declining and Holloway is getting better, there's those aspects of Dustin's game that is always going to trouble Max. Like I said, the power advantage, being the better brawler than Holloway, having that grappling advantage on Holloway, having the grit to handle Holloway's pressure, almost being able to match his volume, almost being able to match his cardio. I'm just going to go with Max Holloway. But last time I was indecisive in Max Holloway's last fight, he lost, which was to Ilia Topuria. And initially I was leading Dustin Poirier, and whenever I switch my predictions, I usually end up wrong. So Dustin will probably end up winning this fight. I'm not counting out the diamond. He might actually win, but I'm just going to go with Holloway just based off the fact that he is improving. He made that last fight very competitive, and I think it's only up from here. I think he can do even better. If he could improve from the first fight to the second fight and do even better in fight 2, I think he can do even better in fight 3. And without getting rocked a bunch of times, if he can evade those big shots, evade the blitzes of Dustin, evade those switch step overhands of Dustin Poirier, and watch out for those counter right check hooks of Dustin, I think he can outvolume him, land more shots than Dustin Poirier, and if he can just avoid that damage and keep the fight on the feet, stay off the cage, not get stalled against the fence again, I think he can outpoint Dustin. And I'm going to say Holloway by a decision. I could see Max getting a finish, but I feel like if anyone's going to get a finish, I feel like Poirier is more likely to close out the trilogy with a finish and a knockout finish, especially now that Holloway's chin has been cracked. I could see Dustin Poirier getting like a TKO against the cage, a barrage of punches against the cage, and Max Holloway collapses, kind of like the Conor McGregor finish. But we'll see. But I think Max Holloway defends his BMF title. Dustin loses 2 in a row for the first time ever. Retires on a loss, and plus, not all legends go out on a win. Most legends go out on losses. So we'll see. But I'm going to go Holloway. But may the best man win. I love both these guys. Either way, I think it's going to be a great fight like the second one. Let me know your picks in the comment section down below. Will Dustin Poirier seal it 3-0, or can Max Holloway at least get him one time? Like and subscribe, and peace out.